All right, we're recording.
All right.
Awesome.
All right. Good afternoon. Good afternoon, everybody.
Hey, what's up?
Happy Monday.
Yeah. For some. Hopefully you.
Really? Well, I guess
Well, it could be. I mean, hey, every day is a happy day for me, but everybody
is every day a Friday for you?
every day is a Wednesday.
Oh, okay.
I can't make my mind up which side of the week I want to be on.
Yeah. Well, we're gonna let everybody in here. Take a couple minutes, very short minutes.
We are not taking time. Stop giving these people time. Jeremy Gonzalez, should we wait for everybody else to join? I don't think so. Not doing it. We're gonna get right into it, man.
All right, I'm
How
gonna
we
do
an extra hour to get ready this week.
all right. I'm not gonna
right.
wait around then for you then. So, all right, housekeeping.
All right. So,
I'm gonna do some
yeah.
housekeeping.
right.
Thanks for getting on the call today, everybody. Awesome Monday. We got a lot of good stuff happening in our market. Deals are coming in, opportunities are happening. So housekeeping items is I appreciate everybody in the group. As you can see, well, Nick and I are on Facebook daily. Our team's on there daily, trying to answer questions, but the majority of the time we take all those questions that you ask in the group and then we gather them up and we try to answer them on our weekly call on Office Hours Live. So that's why we do that. The reason we do that, and I've probably said this before, is because I would rather answer one question to the group that could benefit the entire group rather than one-on-one. That wouldn't be very efficient. And we're blessed to be having Zoom and getting tons of people on our calls to be able to get those questions answered and help them solve their problems as well. So that's one thing.
Well, the other reason is like the questions can be complex. I'm not going to sit there and type a 30-minute dissertation on why the answer is what it is, right?
Yeah.
Or that's why we want to have the dialogue and go back and forth. So
and the other part is that question might be there on a Wednesday. By Monday, there's some other things that might come up that we can utilize to add to it. So there's just because there's a lot of good stuff happening in the market for what we do. So
all right, let's get into
I just wanted real quick. Let me finish my housekeeping items.
I thought you were done.
No, I'm not done. And so if you have or have not had the 45-minute discovery call that if you haven't done it, we'll put the link in the chat. You guys can do that. Our team can help you with that. And then if you haven't, if you're new to the group and you haven't purchased the digital product, do that as well. And we'll put that in the link or in the chat because it's super important for you, for us, for Nick and I to help you if you've actually gone through the stuff. Okay. It's really helpful. And I'll give you one example. We're doing a deal right now where we were trying to help somebody. They didn't even they didn't have it. They had no idea what was going on. And it's a disaster. And it wasn't a disaster on our end because we know what we're doing. It was a disaster on their end. It was a disaster on the title company's end. It was a disaster on doc prep, everything. So it's just like, it's super important. And as Nick and I, as the group grows, we'll try to be a little more efficient on our end to help you guys be more efficient on your end too. So that's all I got.
The answer to that is real simple. Follow the instructions.
Yeah.
Go to the resource tab, follow the instructions, and there won't be a problem. And if there is a fix
in the resource tab, we have obviously a place to submit deals a little bit differently now, that gives you exactly what to do. So that's the other work on.
And we might go through that later if we have time. We only have an hour today, so I don't know that we'll get to that. But Elvia can put the deal submission document in the chat so everybody can see it. But it's pretty damn self-explanatory. If you can't read, then find somebody that can help you read. Seriously.
Hey, you don't have to read to be a successful note investor. You just
I can promise you don't. You don't even have to speak English. You don't even have to live in this country. I'm not joking. I got guys that are in other countries that don't speak English that do business in the US and crush it.
Yeah.
No joke. So, yeah, but in all seriously, I don't, we don't have the bandwidth to do what you guys should be able to do on yourself. This is your business. We're just helping you guys hopefully make the right decisions and go on the right path. So,
Hey, one more thing and then I'll let you go because I know we have a short amount of time today.
Is this housekeeping or is this something else?
One more thing on housekeeping. If you hopped on the call late, you can always go into Facebook and watch the replay. That's the other thing. It's all the stuff is where we have everything you need is in the replays as well. So anyway, that's it. That's great. Let's hop into the deal.
All right, here we go. Is there a separate private Facebook group for paid students where they can see past live videos? I don't know what that means, but if it's what I think it is, that's the vault. That's where the digital product is, and that's where all that new stuff gets added up to. So if you're a digital, if you already have the digital membership, everything is also there. We're starting to migrate away from the Facebook into that. We might go into a different front facing client portal. Don't know yet, but the data, it'll always be available through the vault for sure. How does someone submit a deal for review? Great question, Gilbert. I almost like I should have posed somebody to ask us. LV, put it in the chat. All you have to do is submit it to deals@creativedealmaker.com. You'll get an email back with specific instructions on how to do multiple things. One is submitting a deal for review. Another one submitting a deal for transaction management. Another one is a sell a note that you decided to write on your own. What was the other one that we have in there? Also depends on if you're a paid or non-paid, depending on where it goes. So we're actually, Gilbert, if Gilbert's on the call, I think I saw him on here, have him raise his hand because I think he submitted a deal and we're going to take advantage of that today. Coincidentally, I think it's Gilbert's deal. We're going to walk through that deal and see if it's a deal or not a deal. So that is that. So I can't see anything in chat. I can only see my questions right now. So you have to interrupt me if something comes up. Any cash buyers interested in deals in Louisville, Kentucky, and deals in Tennessee, post it in the Facebook group. There's 4,500 people in it. Put it out there. We have people. We have a lot of members that are in Tennessee for sure. Kentucky, I'm not so sure about that. Not typically one of the markets we do deals in because it's just not a great market, to be quite honest with you. It doesn't mean you can't do deals, but we're all about velocity and deal flow. So we want to stick to the areas that you can really do some significant deals in. So post them in there. Somebody will come up. How important is it for the transaction coordinator to understand the CDM model? They don't even know what the CDM model is. They have no idea. There's no reason they need it. Their transaction management is the process of managing the transaction. So by the time it gets to that point, the deal has already been underwritten and analyzed through the deal or no deal. And we'll get into that when we get it. So remember, the deal or no deal, the modeling, when you first start it, it is strictly a forecasting tool to say, so you can make a quick decision on whether or not you want to proceed or not. Then once you find your buyer, you need to go update it or create another version of it and turn it into actual, because we don't know, you don't know if you were going to be in it 30 days or 30 months, right? You don't know if you maybe had to go fix a roof. You don't know. That's why it's a forecast. Then you change it to actual. Once it gets to the actual and you submit it to the transaction manager as part of the deal. If you go to that deals thing, it tells you submit the updated model. It says submit whatever other documents go with it. We're going to take a look at that and see that you guys are in line before you do the transaction. If you're in.
And Nick, why would you do that? Why would you want to know before they create the note? Why is that?
Because once you close with a buyer, you can't change anything. You're screwed.
Right. So the reason why is because when you have the buyer in place, they're underwritten and ready to go, then that's where the strategy comes into how you create the first and second, the amount of the first and second, all that stuff goes in line. So you get the maximum value for the deals that
Yeah.
you create.
But, and if we're the note buyer, which the whole reason, or not the whole reason, one of the main reasons we do this is so we have the opportunity to buy these notes. Well, I'm not buying an inferior note. I'm not even going to look at somebody else's note, let alone buy it. So if you want to get maximum value, I still have not found anybody that gives us offers on a regular basis more than what we can provide. But hey, still underwrite it the best way that we tell you to do it. Don't take my word for it. You can go have somebody else do it. I don't really care. But I can tell you, after doing this 1,000 times, selling a seller financing business to a bank that went through a 10-month proctology exam on my files and my document. I'm not joking when I say it, and I'm not laughing. That's exactly what it was like. It was sort of funny. But my point is, it's a pain in the ass, no pun intended. It's not something you ever want to go through, and that's part of what we were able to provide you guys back. So you guys, we got a lot of smart people in the group, and I would tell you, don't be smart when it comes to underwriting and transaction management.
But Nick, why the reason you were able to sell your seller financing business and the model and the notes that you created, because they were systematic, they were done correctly. The paperwork was super clean. The notes were written correctly. The borrowers were underwritten correctly. Everything was so clean that the bank could actually own that business, right? That's why.
Well, that's exactly what they did. I had a conversation earlier this morning, and I won't mention the name. I don't think he's in our group. You know who he is, Eric. And I asked him, I go, how many notes? You look at a lot of notes, okay? Let's call him Mike, okay? And I go, you look at a lot of notes. He buys stuff from us. We sell him stuff. We package together. And I go, so how good is the paper? How good is the paper that we create relative to the other stuff that you look at to buy? And he said that it's not even close. So the question is that not even close? What's the value of that? Because it can't be 20 times more valuable, right? Well, it's in that 5 to 10%. Well, if you write $1 million a year in paper, it's significant. So, but regardless of that, it's best business practices, guys. It's why you should do it.
But Nick, the one thing that you and I think are specialized in is we're buying our notes to sell, even though we don't want to. You may or may not want to sell them. But when you have if you have the opportunity to buy, build, and sell a business and create a business, and then that business has value. We don't know what people want to pay for these notes because they're so good. So you do it the right way.
There's no question in my mind. You can go shop it on the street, and you could probably find somebody that'll pay you over par for your note. Meaning they'll pay. It's worth $100,000. Somebody will give you $105,000 for it. I have no doubt in my mind. Doesn't mean they know what they're doing. Doesn't mean they're educated or sophisticated note buyer. Freddie have been buying stuff at 105% from freaking the banks for forever, and that was stuff that was written at 3%.
Nick, I was with one of my financial advisor friends this weekend, and he has one client that I think their books between 150 and $200 million, just theirs. They owned an excavation company forever, mom and pop. He manages $200 million, and I think it was last year, the last eight months, their portfolio made 2.5%, and they were ecstatic. And their goal was, and it's what he told me, because they made so much money, they just want to keep what they have. That's it. They're on preservation of capital, not return.
I don't want to get in the weeds on this too much. Here's what you can benefit from: expertise, velocity, and getting stuff moved through the pipe. If you're trying to save I talk about this all the time. If you want to save a nickel of gas to drive 30 minutes across town because you want to save the nickel of gas, do it. But then we're not here to help you. So trust us when we say, because this is what we do. But anyway, I get it. So 4 things, guys: find the deal, figure out if it's a deal or not, fund the deal, find a buyer, then get the hell out of the way. Cannot make it any clearer than that. Okay. If you want to learn how to do all this stuff, great. Then you can go through the process. It's all in the vault. It's all done for you. If you want to try to take your stab at underwriting your own buyers, knock yourself out. But we are not a buyer for that note because we already know what the answer likely is going to be. And it's not worth our time even to verify that you even did do the job right. All right, let's
Hey,
go on.
why don't we go through the deal or no deal since we have a short period of time? Because I want to get into.
All right, well, let me see here. We actually had quite a few. Let's see. Had one or two more questions here. Okay. Guy generating. Let me read this one real quick, just from Marlon. Like, I generate. If I generate a note purchase price, it was way higher than value. Okay, I think he's talking about way higher value. Yeah, so value has nothing. You can charge whatever you want for properties, okay? But but the only number that matters, there's two numbers that matter: yield, this to the note buyer. That's what we're talking about here. Is the yield and what the investment, the value is, the risk, right? So if it's really worth 200 and you sell it for 250, that's fine. But understand that the value on the note is going to be based on 200,000, not on 250. Okay.
Yes, is so if you sell it for more because people do it all the time, but when we go underwrite it or a note buyer underwrites it, they're going to take the as is value, and then
Yep.
they're going to create their yield and their loan to value.
You know, for the last 5 years, you could get away with it more because prices were going up, right? You could sit on something for 3 months and go up 10%. Well, I can't predict what's going to happen in the next 3 months. Could go down 5%. So the only way you're going to really protect that is by writing the ratios correctly, and we'll show that in the model, and potentially getting a BPO or a appraisal to protect that number. Okay. All right. So, okay. One more question here. I thought there was one more on here. If there's anything else, we can surely go back in. Okay. If you have, Nick and Eric, if you have self-serviced a note mortgage and took back a deed in lieu, how do you put that on the person's credit report? Don't know. Don't care. Because I would never have done a self-service note to begin with. So.
No, I think what she's saying is if you took it back, I mean, you just want the asset. I mean, you can go.
No, she wants to file it on the person's credit report.
Right.
Okay. I don't know. The time it takes me to figure out that, I'm just going to go do another deal. So, I mean, call an attorney, do somebody that, I mean, there's plenty of places you could probably do it. All right. Does a balloon payment or extending terms longer than 360 reduce the monthly payment effect wrap first position discount? That's a good question. And I don't know the answer to that. And the reason why I don't know the answer is because it depends. And I think it really is it really is appetite of the note buyer, because by going from 30-year to 40-year, it's an extra X. So for example, let's say the loan amount is $100,000 on a 30-year note. It's a 3X return. I mean, that means it's worth $300,000. Okay. The face is 100, but the total payout is 300. When you go to 40, it goes to 4X or $400,000.
Basically, they're front loading your interest. You're getting more. They're paying down the principal way in less period of time if you plug it into an amortization.
At the end of the day, it's not going to go 30 or 40 years anyway.
No.
So if you run an amortization table, you actually will make more money on a 40-year, even if it pays off in 5 or 10.
Yeah.
Than you will on 30.
Yeah, just plug it in. This is funny because we had this discussion. I'm like, I don't know. And then we started playing around the amortization schedule. I'm like, well, why wouldn't you?
Well, I think it really boils down to, it's more philosophical for me, because the way I look at it is this. First of all, I want to put the borrower in a position to be successful. Number one.
Yep.
Number two, the difference in payment between a 30 and a 40-year note is insignificant, relatively speaking. It's 40 or 50 bucks. So for them to qualify by going the 40-year term and not qualifying for 30, well, then they're probably too close to underwriting them anyway. That's my position.
Yeah.
That's how I would look at it. I mean, if that's what it takes us to get them over the hump, I'm not sure that's really who the buyer that I'd want to.
But Nick, I mean, we're gonna do a deal or no deal. I mean, if you guys want to plug in your calculator, you're gonna be able to see it like a live deal, what we're doing right now. So you can see the difference.
Right, yeah, 100%. So
So
Jeremy says, and we'll get into this is the inverse true? A $300,000 house that we sell at 275. Does the note buyer care about this 300 or 275? Well, so, but what's gonna happen is that we're gonna sell them, the note, we're gonna buy the note based on the percentage, right? So we're not gonna pay more. What's gonna happen is you're gonna put the investor in a better investment to value. So let's just say that let's just use the math. Let's just use it 275. So if I take 275 times let's call it 0.90 if it's Texas, 247, okay? I gotta do,
it's 0.72 is what you're meaning to do.
275, yeah, I mean, I added that calculator. 275 times 0.72 is not 198, then times 0.90. So 178. So they're gonna get the note that they're buying is gonna be 175, 180,000 based on the 275 sale price. So if the property's worth more or goes up in value, they're just going to be in a less risky position. They're going to be more aggressive to purchase.
But Nick, if you did, if it truly was value, if we pull it up and it's at 7,300 at 72 at 90, that's 194 minus one. Obviously, it's the difference in the deal. But
yeah,
so
it doesn't hurt. You don't gain anything more. Now, if it's substantial and you depend on your writing, you might get another point on the back end on the note sale. It just depends. But there's a lot of other factors besides that. So
if you're creating a first and second and you want to go at that, do it that way, or you want cash out of it, you know, the value, you can still sell it at 72 and 90. And that's just cash in your pocket, depending on the value. I mean, if that's the value, that's where it comes in at.
All right.
You're just being nice and selling it for 275 when you should sell for 300, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, it's okay. You might be in it at $100,000. I mean, it happens. So.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Look, if you get a buyer in an hour and you don't want to screw around with it, done it before.
No,
jump on a plane.
Nick, in our digital product, you did that. Remember, you had a property worth 20,000 more.
Actually, it's actually on the video.
I know.
Exactly the same thing. I probably could have made a lot more money on it,
but
that
you
was a different story, though. I mean, her boyfriend or her husband got killed in a motorcycle accident, got a lump sum of cash. Was a single mom, had a young kid, and I said, whatever, I don't care. It was a good deal, and that's what she could afford.
No, you put it out there at that price, and you got your price.
Yeah. I already actually had the buyer on that one before I even had to put the price out. So it was easy. All right, let's go into Gilbert. Are you ready to share your screen and pull up your model?
Okay. Let me try to find it here on my computer.
What's up, Gilbert?
How are you?
Awesome.
All right, well, Gilbert's doing that. Let's go to Kenley, see if I think he's got a question. He's got his hand raised. I know he had a deal he was working on. So Gilbert, put your hand when you're ready to share your screen, put your hand back up. All right, Kenley, go ahead and what you got?
I'm just raising my hand that way you knew that I was submitting the deal. That's all. I didn't have an actual question.
Did you already send it in? LV, do we have it?
Yes, sir.
Yes, but we didn't have access to it. That's what I just sent to him.
Okay, hey guys, make sure we get access. We can't.
Yeah,
we can't do
it.
All right. Hey, Elvia, do we have? I know we have
Gilbert, I just sent you the deal to your chat. If you can see your chat.
Guys, make sure we're ready to go because we're gonna not be through as many. Who is the other person that wanted to go through? That sent one over. Is he on the call?
Yeah.
Elvia?
Bruce.
Is Bruce on the call or no?
No, he's not here.
All right. Let's see here. All right, well, we'll go.
We'll go with
All right,
Gilbert.
Gilbert's ready to roll, so I'm gonna give Gilbert screen share. And then we'll walk through this one real quick. All right. All right, Gilbert, you got screen share. Show it. Fire away.
She just sent it to me. This is what, she said she just sent it to me, and this is the, oh, here we go.
Yeah, click on the bottom.
Hey, and the reason we have you guys do it is because it works so much better when you actually physically do it yourself, and then we talk through it and tell you where to go and what to push, and it's just a lot better that way. Yep.
All right. All right, so this house is in, Gilbert, are you in Fort Worth? Are you in Dallas?
No, I'm in New Jersey.
You're in New Jersey. Gotcha. Nice. So this is in Fort Worth. Okay. Okay, you got an acquisition. Okay. Okay, scroll down on the bottom for me. I don't know if Wynn's on this call or not, but he's in New Jersey too. All right, scroll down a little more. Keep going. I want to see the green. Okay, so you're negative 23 right now. That's the cash, net cash out. And how big is the second lien? Scroll, go up and to the right. Up and to the right a little bit. Second lien is 61,000. What it is.
Yep.
All right. So yeah, so the ratio is good. You're just gonna have to come out of pocket a little bit of money. This is what we were talking about doing, gap funding and some other stuff. I'm working on another release, so we'll probably on the next call is when we'll probably go through it. So Gilbert, so tell me what you're thinking. Have you already how are you buying this house?
Well, I'm not actually. I mean, I just kind of jumped on you guys' call last week, and got a calculator, and want to try and get used to it and figuring out how the numbers.
How'd you come up with 350?
How did I come up with 350? Just a little bit less than what the comps were showing. I just kind of come in.
Have you seen pictures of this?
I'm sorry?
Have you seen pictures?
I do have pictures. This is the first time I submitted a deal, so I didn't put the link in.
That's fine.
Yeah, I was sent pictures of this.
So a couple of things I see on here. What is the so a couple of things here before you switch over. One, you're significantly higher than the median for this property, okay? Where the median is 295, you're at 350. Now doesn't
So Nick, for the new people on the call, where are you going to find the median?
So that's his ZHVI number over there.
So ZHVI,
which is the
okay.
Zillow Home Value Index. Scroll down and put your cursor on there. So let's go pull that up. Can you go to Google and just put the zip code in and that in ZHVI so we can see it? Let's open it up or whatever.
Gotta move it.
Hit that little plus sign up for them. Hit that little plus sign on the far right. All the way up. No, a little more. The plus sign on the far right. Very end.
On your yeah, there's
There you go. One more.
No, one more.
You're there.
Nope.
You're
Keep going.
so close. All the way to the right.
Go to the right. There's a plus sign in the corner. Maybe you can't see it because maybe there's something there.
Yeah, I can't.
Maybe
All
your
right,
chat's in the way.
Just go to Zillow. Just go to Zillow and we'll just go from there.
Yeah, I have it right. I have it pulled up here. And
Oh,
what's
there it is.
the
So-
zip code?
76133, I think. I think that's what it was. Is that right? So click on that. Okay. So this just tells us what the median price is, right? And there's properties that are worth more, properties that are worth less. It's a good area. I know where the area is. I think it's probably a little on the higher end of where we want to probably be for a couple different reasons. I think it's just too right now, I think it's too high of a price for owner financing. I think it's really important. Go back to your model real quick. Where's the ratio of rent value on this? Did we do rents?
And Nick, while you guys are looking at rent value, the reason why he's saying that is because at 10% interest, you got to make sure that it's affordable price. You know, if you don't want to have a $4,000 payment for somebody, you know what I mean?
So the rent value is 2,200 because it's not linear, right? You can't, a $500,000 house that's gonna have a $5,000 a month payment doesn't rent for $5,000. It's gonna rent for $3,200 or whatever.
Right.
So scroll to the right, Gilbert, to the right real quick, a little more.
But if
Keep
you have a
going
20,
down.
if you have a $2,400 rental area, let's
Keep
say
going
it's a
down,
medium.
right there, rent. So you're at 122%. See that where it says rent gap in that little peach? See that
Mhm.
little peach box right there? So you're at a rent gap of 122, which means that you're about 20, almost 25% higher than rent. Now, that's just a number. This doesn't mean anything other than the fact that it costs more to own than it does the rent. That's all that it says. And it costs more to own by $500 a month. So will people pay $2,700? You know, that's not including the taxes and
Yeah,
insurance.
yeah. You didn't put tax,
No, I
insurance,
know,
and
it's just a
servicing in
gap,
there.
just a rent gap. That's all it is. So, but they get deducted anyway. They get deduct taxes and insurance, but I would.
Would
much
someone
rather
own this house? Would someone want to own this house for $3,000 a month? And you might get someone to do that, to be honest with you, depending on.
1,000% there will be. The
Yeah.
problem is you got less people that will want to do it. So do you want to play, you want to be in the game where you're looking, where the buyers are easy to find or hard to find? I like easy better than hard. But I will tell you this, out of the 1,000 properties that I've done, I still don't own one I wasn't able to sell. So some are harder to sell than others. Some are easier to sell than others. You know, sometimes you just got to price it. You overprice them and you got to make the adjustments, right? So if this was $100,000 less, not, I mean, relatively speaking, like you could sell, the house was worth 250, not 350. You were buying it for, you're moving it would be better. Would I do this deal? I don't know. I would have to find out. I'd want to see. It's a little, we don't really like going above that $300,000 threshold in some of these markets because they're just harder to get buyers to come up with the thing. So let's see what else you got. So you got down payment at 36,500. Yeah, that's fine. We want it to be at least 8%. That's fine. But let's just talk about what our options are here. Let's assume that we can find a buyer. Okay. Let's assume all this is fine. We find a guy. Scroll down, Gilbert. So the question becomes, are you willing to invest $23,775, which is the net cash now, to obtain a $61,000 second lien? Scroll to the right a little bit. Let's see how long it takes to get our money back. So it's going to take us 45 months to get our money back. Okay, in this model. Follow where I'm at. So we're at 23,775. That's our cost out of pocket, where we're getting a $61,000 mortgage back in return. Are we willing, if assuming we have the money, are you willing to invest that into the deal? Because let's just see what the yield is on that. It's going to be pretty high. 528 times 12 divided by, how much was it? 23,775. And the new version, the calc of the model will have this already in there. That's 27%. It's good return relative to other stuff, but not a good return for this. So I would like to see, you know, you're gonna have to come down a little bit on that number, and the way you're gonna have to get it, it's probably have to be in the sales price, okay? Because you can't make the down payment any higher. So now, if you change that to 303, now let's go see what our numbers are. We're gonna get worse, okay? Now you're at minus $60,000. How big is your second lien now? it's only 54,000, you would never do that deal. This is not a deal the way it stands right now.
Mhm.
Okay. You'd have to go, you have to go back and buy it cheaper, right? You have to go back and buy it cheaper.
Right.
So you'd have to buy, because right now, 250 divided by 300, you're buying at 83%. I don't know anybody that's negotiating deals right now at 83 cents on the dollar. Just not. Most wholesalers that I talk to, they're negotiating with seller in the mid to high 60s right now, and that number is going to go down. So
Mhm.
if they don't like it, then you're not the buyer. The seller's not willing to go give you the price you need, then you're just not the buyer on this. So you're off. You need to be, for you to make this sense, I would say put that down to 210. Let's see how close we are if the price is 210. See, this is what you do with the numbers. You just see, you set your price now, go down to the bottom. Let's look at the model again, see what we're at now. So now you're at 18. And how big is the second lien now? Let's go. Okay, now we're right on the number. Now you're down to your negative cash. Your ROI is about a little over 3 years. It's a little bit, but let's see what the 464 times 12 divided by 18,000. 293. 293. Now you goes up to 30, 31. So that's it. Not a great deal regardless. If this was $100,000 less, when I say that, I don't mean this particular property, but if the value was 250 instead of 300 and the price that to buy it at was relative and you shifted on the other side of that curve, I'd be much more interested in this deal. You have too many things that are working against you in that situation. So Gilbert, does that answer your question on how to use the model to adjust the levers, if you will?
Yeah, my only question is like the sales price. I had watched your tutorial on it, and I wasn't really like understanding how we were coming up with actual sale price. Is that just based on?
Well, the sales price is based on your comps, okay?
Mhm.
It's based on your comps. So your values could, look, here's the thing. I don't know how you pulled your comps. Did you pull 18 properties over the last 12 months? Did you pull one from 90 days ago? I don't know, right? So comps are very, very subjective, okay? So what I'm seeing is that if it's really worth 372 or 400, then why are we pricing it at 300?
Right. Okay.
See what I'm saying?
Mhm.
So, but if it is 400, it's going to be a harder sell, because that's a harder sell. We try to provide owner financing to the middle class, right? The middle America. We're looking at this bell curve, right? We want to be, to the left of it, or we want to be maybe a little bit to the right of it. Well, right here, you're way right of it. You're at 295 and you're looking at a 400,000. That's way, way on the other side of the curve. You're in the top 10% of all homes in that zip code, probably. Okay. We want to be on the other side of it. Make sense?
Right.
That's my opinion. Can you sell this house at $400,000 and get somebody to give you $80,000 down payment? Absolutely. But it's going to take a lot more work and energy and effort to do it, more than likely, because it's a more expensive house. It's more expensive for the buyer to get into it. A lot of things. I just like dealing with easy. This is not easy. Easy is a $250,000 house.
Right.
Right. $200,000 house. That's easy because that's where everybody needs to live. It makes it real simple. Do you want to rent it for $1,800? Do you want to own it for $2,100? It's a lot different conversation at the end of the day. So the model looks good. I think the numbers are okay, relatively speaking, but I would not probably lock this up until I had found a buyer. Now, where did you find this deal?
Wholesaler had sent it to me. I've been reaching out to them and trying to, they send me and put it into.
I think the question becomes, well, You know, if it's vacant, you know, you can just tell them straight up what you're looking to do. We do it all the time. Go, let me see if I can find a buyer that I can finance this to. And then I can get you your number. But I would never take this down. I wouldn't, right now in this market condition, I would not take this down anywhere near this price for cash. I mean, I'm buying that house at 60 to 65 cents on the dollar if I'm buying it with cash. You're at 83. That's retail. That, I mean, that's way too high. Way too high. So that's just it. So you got to look at your ratios. I mean, the fact that he's selling at that just tells me he's not a very good wholesaler. Either that or he's really greedy, because if he negotiated at 75 cents on the dollar and he's selling at 83, hey, maybe he gets somebody to buy it. I think those days are gone. They went by really quick. I think they'll be back in 6 months, maybe a year. But for right now, do not need to do that. It's a complete change. All right. What any other questions on this so we can get to the next model? Anything else on that, Gilbert?
No, you know, I had there was another one that I submitted, but if we get to it, we get to it. If not, then, you know, I'll just continue to.
All right, sounds good. All right, sounds good. I appreciate it. Thanks, Gilbert.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
thanks, Gilbert.
All right, let's go back to Kenley real quick and see what he's got. I think he was gonna, he had a deal he was gonna send too.
I got one. I'm on my phone and my computer. On my computer is where I can pull up stuff.
Okay, so you have screen access, so if you wanna share your screen, we can pull it up and look. Is this the one in Temple that we were chatting about?
Yes, sir. Can you, I have screen access, so can you guys see my screen right now?
Yeah, I see your screen.
Okay. Yeah, I'm all in at 135.
Hey, real quick, you see a screen?
I don't see a screen, no.
No, we don't see your screen.
I'm sorry, I thought you said you do.
Yeah.
No, I do not see it.
It's the other Kinley, the one that is just on my computer. How would I do that? Share screen?
Yeah, I mean, you got screen share. Yeah, you just go and click on it and share it.
No, I think he's on two
No,
different.
yeah, the thing is that I think that you are on Zoom, but on your
Doesn't
cell
matter.
phone,
He's
you
got
don't have
screen share
Zoom.
and he should be able to,
No, but if he's on screen share on, oh, there we go.
there it comes. No, he's got it.
Is it
All
working? Okay.
right, it's starting to share. Hang on.
Yeah.
All right, there we go. All right. All right, sounds good. All right, this is on Avenue Z, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right, so scroll down. Let me see something. Okay, this version of whatever model this is, I think, go back to the top for a second, all the way. To the very top. I just want to see what it says at the top. All the way, keep going. Okay, so scroll down a little bit. So you got 10% down, 250. No, you didn't do any rehab on it?
Yeah, it's already rehab fully.
Gotcha. Okay. So scroll down. First thing I want to do is look at, I want to look at your 3 cash now, cash flow, cash later boxes. They're going to be good. I can tell by the price, but go ahead. Okay. Stop for a second. You need to go up. You need to make sure you put in the acquisition date and disposition dates estimates, because that calculates how much the hard money cost is.
So I already own it. So
You already own, yeah, I was gonna say.
So you pay cash for it?
yeah, well, I have a private lender on it. Yes, sir.
Okay, so is it giving you the money for free?
It's just a 10% flat. It's not it's not a 10%. It's a 10,000 flat. It's not a percentage.
Okay, well, you gotta still put.
Why don't we
If
just
you're gonna do
play?
that, you have to change it and put $10,000 somewhere else.
But why don't we play it with these numbers just so we have it for the viewers?
Yeah,
And
go ahead
then-
and put in, just set it to 60 days.
Yeah, put
Just
60
date
days.
in there.
So put today, just put, I don't know, put
Doesn't matter. It's a forecast.
August 1st to October.
So this is my lady's computer and she's not here and I don't know her code. So it let me pull it up, but it won't let me plug anything in.
You can't put anything in it? Okay, that's fine. Let's scroll down as well. So we can't edit this or do anything?
I don't believe so. No, it's not letting me,
All right,
or maybe it
Scroll
does.
down. Let me see it. Let me go scroll down. I want to see the 3 boxes. We'll just pretend like we're not making changes. So you've got, so go back over. So you're right now, no, go back to the other side. Where the 3 green, well, that's fine too. Scroll to the left just a little bit.
I don't know why it's jumping so quick. Sorry about that.
That's fine. I'll scroll down a little bit. I want to see the middle of the spreadsheet where the 3 cash now.
Man, it's just taking.
Keep going down a little bit more. Right there, stop. All right, so right now, this model has you making, you're just gonna have to slow down. It's not catching up. Right there, stop. So right now, it says that you're gonna make $28,470 cash now, okay? The profit per day didn't calculate because you didn't have the cost in there. That doesn't matter. It's still a good deal. So what this says is you're gonna make $28,000, plus you're gonna get a second lien of $45,000, okay? This is an entirely different deal than what Gilbert just said, okay? Obviously, you got this deal, and it's there, and you're gonna be able to do some version of this. So the question is, do you want $28,470 in cash at closing? Do you need all that? Do you want all that? Because scroll back up for a second, scroll up a little bit. And you can't change it, so I can't show you.
And just to,
Because you're at 72,88.
it's not gonna be 28,000 because he's $10,000 off that minimum. So now it's gonna be 18,000. You're gonna have 8 cash plus a nice fat second lien making 300. I mean, this is like the old model you would want to model here.
Well, he's got some
Right.
other hard money cost already in there. But I'm just using it as an example. How much cash do you want is my question.
Yeah, I'm okay with that. So I would, that's 25, that's 10% down plus the additional is what you're saying, right? The 28,470.
Well, no, that's the net number. So go
No,
down.
it calculates it all. That's
Already
your down
calculated.
payment and everything.
You're not getting, that is the net after you get the down payment.
Mhm.
You're not getting the down payment plus that amount, okay? Your net on this deal is 28,470 net. Now, if your number is wrong on the $10,000, you have to make the adjustment there. But this is a great deal. I mean, you can, but what I was gonna say is that you might say, hey, I only want $10,000 cash. Well, then we could change the ratios on the first and the second to give you more cash flow later. You're not gonna, can't go the other direction really, but you can actually take less cash out of it. So what's your question on this? What's your question relative to this model? And then we'll talk about what's next.
You guys ready to buy it? No, I'm ready to sell.
Buy the house or buy the note?
The note.
Oh, yeah,
You know,
I'll buy it right now for those numbers. But you gotta do, we talked about it, right? You gotta find a buyer. Do you already have a buyer?
Yep. Signed everything on Saturday. And so normally I would send in an RMLO, but I haven't gone through you guys' process yet. So at this point, I've submitted it to you, but I don't know what the next steps are.
All
I
right,
don't
so
know.
I don't know if LV has seen it yet or not. So you need to go in and there's for a finished deal, it'll tell you what it is. It's in the instructions. It'll tell you exactly what to do. You just follow those instructions, okay, and submit it. And then you just stay the hell out of the way and let the transaction team do the rest. You don't need to call the servicer. You don't need to call the underwriter. You don't need to call the title company. It's already done for you. It's all part of the process. Okay.
Okay.
Now they may call you for questions, okay, or updates or something like that. They may need, you're gonna have to provide the LLC documents if it's a company, things like that. But yes, we can. That's the whole point of why we do what we do. So now you don't have to spend the next 15 hours of time over the next 3 weeks doing all this stuff. You can go focus on getting another deal. Okay.
What
It's already
what
in there.
I might have missed this.
$1,200 is already in
What
here.
market's this in?
It's in
Central
Tempe.
Texas.
Okay, cool. I thought so. That's
Outside of
why.
Austin.
But you've
But
already
just-
got, see, but if you go to line 49, there's a transaction fee already in the model. It's $1,200. It's already in there.
Yeah.
Awesome.
It's already there.
But
So-
Nick, just to clarify for people on the call, there's a lot of people on the call that may or may not even have been on one of our calls before.
Right?
When you say get out of the way, that's when you have deals in Texas. If you're outside of Texas and Arizona, Texas, and Tennessee, if we're going to be involved with buying the note, that's when you get out of the way and let us help you with that. You already have the transaction.
Even if you're gonna, if you're gonna use us to disposition a note, we still need to go through the process. The process is the process. Doesn't matter if it's Texas or not.
All right. Just want to clarify that.
Doesn't change anything. You
Hey,
try
Nick,
to do it
did
on
you
your
ask
own.
him? Did you
Go ahead.
ask him about that $28,000 cash now? Because you normally like to prefer to take a lower cash now and a higher second. Is that kind of why you're
I
asking?
was going to show that, but he can't edit the spreadsheet.
But is that your
So, yeah.
strategy generally?
Me personally, it depends because look, it depends on where it is in the process. Because we all need transactional cash to run our business, right? So if this is the 5th deal I've done in the month and I've already made $20,000 in cash, then I don't need as much cash. It's the first deal of the month. I'm probably going to leave it just to where it is, get as much cash I can now, and then the subsequent deals I might change it. It just depends. It really just depends on where we are in the process and what we do. These are good numbers. The ratios are good. It's a personal opinion on what you want to do, right? And how much you want cash now and how much you want cash flow. But I will tell you this, every dollar that you move over to the second lien versus cash can pay you up to 3x.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know who, I feel like that was Stacy who asked that question, but I think it's a personal opinion because we have investors that they don't want any cash. They want all cash flow and note. They want as much income as they can get on that free and clear paper.
Well, we got investors that will turn that into negative $5,000.
Yeah.
They'll jam down, they'll lower it. God, I wish we could show it, but I can't. So we changed that 72 down to say 60%.
Yeah.
And that cash goes from plus 28 down to negative 5, but the second lien goes way, way up because they want the note, right?
They
Because
want the
remember,
note.
$3 worth three times X, but there's even more to it because guess what they're not doing? They're not discounting the second note or cash. So when this first lien gets changed from 72 down to 65, the discount is only on the dollar value of the first lien. So that's another 7% that isn't getting part of the discount. That's why when you have this and you play with the numbers, you can see exactly the impact is of whatever it is you're trying to accomplish.
So
Different
yeah.
reason to do what they do.
So Nick, so basically what we're saying, when you create first and seconds, you can manipulate where you want the first and then put it in the second, rather than discounting, just creating one. If you've never been on a call before, you just create one lien, you're going to have a bigger discount. The discount's based off the loan to value and investment to value. It's a lot less.
Guys, well, you can do whatever you want. Nick, will always write 2 liens, no matter what. Unless it's just such a huge down payment that I can't do it. But that would be the only reason somebody gives me $100,000 down payment on a $150,000 house. Then I am only going to write one now
because then the first liens is like a second lien anyway, so you don't care.
Yes, that's exactly correct.
Yeah.
We just did
one like that.
I literally just did it. I got $100,000 down on a $170,000 house.
Yeah.
Well, I just kept the lien.
Yeah. Now you're in first position at like 20%.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, you just gotta look at the numbers and figure out what you want. There was something else I was going to say, and I can't remember what it was now.
If I'd have known about creating 2 notes on everything, I've probably done, I don't know, 40 of these deals before I knew about creating 2 notes. Yeah, I would have done that from the jump too.
Well, how many I did before I did this? A hell of a lot more than that.
Yeah.
That's why we call it the $6 million mistake.
Yep.
Yeah, exactly.
So you're
relative.
Buying the first note at 88%, and the first note's 180.
If this is a good buyer, I think we could probably get maybe even 89, maybe even 90, depending on what the buyer comes out looking at. It is Central Texas. If that was the deal and it was Dallas or Houston or San Antonio, I could pretty much tell you right now, we could do the 90, but since it is Temple, and how old is this house, by the way?
69.
Okay,
1969.
that's good. I thought it was gonna be 100 years old, so that was where I was gonna say we might not get it. But here's
It's a
what you
free
might-
2 brick. We did everything, you know. So.
That's awesome. This is great. It's the right price point. It's a good deal. You already got the buyer. We'll get them in, we'll get them processed, we'll get them underwriting, and then boom, the rest of it will take care of itself. So here's why you write the second note, okay? And you don't ever do it, because we had this happen with somebody in our group, and they go, well, my second note was only gonna be $10,000. I didn't want a $10,000 second note. I go, that was a huge mistake, because the discount that they were going to take on the note was going to be like a $9,200 discount. So they got an extra $800 cash, but didn't have the second note. So for $800, would you rather have the $800, or would you rather have the $10,000 second note? Because it's all risk, right? So the investment, the value change. So write the second note. Do not go above that note ratio. If you go above it, you can absolutely sell the note, but what you won't get is maximum value. Okay, there's a big difference between selling it and getting the right number for it. And I'm telling you right now, if you go 75% is the magic number. We put it at 72 because it gives us a little bit of wiggle room based on value, so we don't have to discount it and lose that money. Because once you discount it, you get zero value. It's gone. That's why we want to shove as much to the second note as possible, because that money is protected. You don't discount the second, right? So that's why we do it. So write second notes, because when you write them, it protects that money. I mean, if you guys want to give me a bunch of $10,000 second liens, I'll give you $800 for every one of them. I have no problem with that. I don't think that's what you should do. Remember, guys, here's what's really, really important. And we're going to, if there's any other question, we'll answer, but think about it like this. When the note is first created, there's a discount that has to be paid, because hasn't performed yet. It's not seasoned yet. Time value money, blah, 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 blah. Okay. That's how most note buyers look at it. However, if you're holding that note and you look at an amortization schedule, and we'll do this when we go to the next model, based on the interest rate, you're looking at a 3x of face value. A $10,000 note could have as much value as $30,000. So it's face value today, and you got to discount a little bit when you sell. But if you're able to hold on to that, you get the benefit over time, and all that interest is paid down. The balance just doesn't change very much, and that's the value. That's why we want to hold these notes for as long as we can. So we're going to go, when we get on the next one, I'm going to have the updated version of the model. We're going to talk about the new changes in there, where we can look at either using as a gap funding or getting borrowing against that second lien to get to that, so you can flip that negative number and get to a positive cash, and then give away some of the your future cash flow from the second note, if that's what makes the deal work for you. We'll look at that and we'll show that, and we're going to show a couple other small things on there. So any other questions before we wrap this one up, Eric?
I had a question. What happens if the, maybe not on this deal, but other deals, the buyer ends up not being QM? Does that affect?
Well, I mean, then you got to go back to square one, right? I mean, I think at the end of the day, it depends why, right? At the end of the day, we only have as a small cap lender, which is what you are technically would be. You just have to prove that they have the financial capacity to make that payment. Everything else is a consideration. So you can theoretically write the note. The question becomes, if you write it at a 72% DTI, debt to income ratio, which you're perfectly allowed to do, is a note buyer going to deem that as too risky? And what's the cost of it going to be? And you just don't know, right? It just really depends. Because if they're a 72% DTI, but they gave you $100,000 down on a $150,000 purchase, not nearly as big of a deal. So it just really depends. So we want to stay within those margins, and I would underwrite them that way. Very rarely can we not qualify a borrower, because here's all we got to do. Tell them to go get somebody else to sign the cosign on their behalf. I've had
Yeah,
4 guys,
exactly.
I've had 4 minimum wage restaurant employees buy a house on minimum wage to qualify, because 2 of them couldn't do it, 3 couldn't do it, but 4 of them could, and they bought the house. And that house now, I think I sold to them for $70,000, probably 7 or 8 years ago. It's probably $230,000 now. It made a pretty damn good investment. So you just got to get more people into the mix, and we can underwrite 42 buyers if we had to. Doesn't ever really get to that point. Am I frozen up, or are you, Eric?
It's not you, I don't think.
Was it me? Okay, I saw Eric. I couldn't tell if it was me or not.
No, it's not you, Nick. It's Eric.
All right, good. So any other questions on that?
Meta and Scott and White is right down the road, so I think the area is really good, but it's just me being a stickler. But yeah, I appreciate you guys, and hopefully we
Send
get
it
this
in
thing
if you're
across the
okay
finish line.
So send it, if you want us to proceed, send in the model, the updated model, make sure it's right, man. You can go change it and put a hard coded $10,000 flat cost in it. Just rename it on your model and call it flat fee, lender fee. Okay. And then just delete everything else and put.
So
negative
I'm
10 in
all
there.
into it. So I'm all into it for 125, and I knew I had to pay him 10,000, so that's why I made it 135.
Fine, then go zero then if
But
that
yes,
once it
I'm
becomes an actual, then you can go change it, because the whole point of the model is to get to the what you think it's going to be. Once you know the number, you can just hard code it in and zero everything else out if you want. Not going to change anything.
Hey,
That
Kenley,
is the number.
how did you find this property?
Direct to seller. We have a acquisition team and everything.
Okay.
Nice.
Like direct mail, cold call, text, what is it?
I can give you the real details. It's a vacant death. It was all through a cold call, but it's vacant, death, absentee owner, out of state, and behind on taxes.
Nice.
So it checked like 6 of the 6 boxes that you wanna, when you search
Yeah.
for data, that checked them all. So, because a lot of people are on the call or on the call today, and they always ask, how do I get properties? And so you have an acquisition team that's doing it direct to seller. You're obviously creating notes and successful at it too.
Are you doing
But there's a
pay-per-click,
lot
did you say?
What?
Kenley, are you doing pay-per-click?
One more time.
Are you doing pay-per-click also or no?
No, sir.
Okay.
No, sir.
So
Just
you
curious.
pulled that data, you cold called, you got an out-of-state owner to say, yeah, I want to sell it. Thanks for calling. I want to sell it. And then you backed into the numbers and did the deal. Now, there are, just for everyone on the call, there are companies like you out there that just strictly wholesale that deal to people like us, knowing we have a $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 down payment buyer that's looking for that type of property, right? So, I mean, you crush that deal direct to seller. But there's a lot of wholesalers out there that have that same deal that would just wholesale it and make their 10 grand, 15, 20 grand or whatever. And there's still a lot of
Let's
money.
talk about that for 1 second. If you were the wholesaler on that deal and didn't know what you did, okay, and you did it, you would typically do what to that? Add 15,000, maybe 20,000, pick a number. Typical wholesale deals, right?
Mine's 35 here. That's what we run. I get pretty good discounts because I only go after stacks of problems. So
Right.
I do less deals, but I have bigger spreads.
Well, my point is that somebody could have got that under contract and wholesaled it, and you could have picked it up from a wholesaler for a $10,000, $15,000, $20,000 more, and you still would have crushed that deal. See what I'm
Yeah.
saying? You could have paid somebody to bring you that
Yes, sir.
deal, and they would have made their money, and you would have still, because the way you structured the deal, would have still crushed it. So, but you're always gonna be better off direct to seller in some capacity, because you're cutting out the middle guy. That's the trade-off. But
Hey, Kenley, what does your team look like when you're going direct to seller? How many people, how many acquisition managers do you have?
So I have 2 people that do calls, and door knocker that I go out there with them from time to time and kind of give them tips and advice.
For your door
And along with
knockers?
him door knocking, he's doing driving for dollars and ad stuff. Yeah.
And
Nice.
but they're
Say it again.
driving for dollars with properties that have tax, out of state, of probate, whatever. There's about 4 or 5 different things that house has. So now going door knocking that particular property is not a bad plan, because you already know what it is. You just need to find people.
All right, cool. Send it over if you
Exactly.
want us to, work on it. Update the model when you send it over, okay? And then we'll
Yes, sir.
get someone on our team to reach back out to you with any other details needed. And we'll get it in the system and get it closed and get it paid.
Appreciate you guys. Thank you.
All right,
Yeah,
guys.
thanks, Stanley.
Hey, next Monday is Labor Day, so we will not be doing the call. I'm not sure if we're gonna do it another day yet. But just watch for Facebook and we'll post it if we will. All right? All right, man, I'm out of here.
All right, we'll see you guys later. Thanks for being on the call. We had a good group today. Please, please, please put your questions in the Facebook group so we can answer them. And we have today was a shorter day, but we'll try to stay on as much as we can to get these answered. Appreciate you guys. Have an awesome rest of the week.
All right, guys, have a good one. Take care.
See ya.